So if everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. on the 9th of March already. If I can go ahead and have roll call, Carolyn, thank you.
Shirley Burkhorn.
Here.
Ryan Wakely.
Here.
Conrad Levinsky.
Here.
Jordan Dirksen.
Here.
Camille Wilcox.
Here.
Linda Wolfarth is absent.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if I can get a motion for approval of the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Wakely makes the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Trustee Burkhorn makes a second. Let's go ahead and have roll call on that. Thank you.
Shirley Burkhorn.
Aye.
Ryan Wakely.
Aye.
Conrad Levinsky.
Aye.
Jordan Dirksen.
Aye.
Camille Wilcox.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. If I can get a motion for approval of the minutes.
Make a motion.
Trustee Wakely makes a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
And then Trustee Wilcox makes a second. Let's go ahead and have roll call on that. Thank you.
Shirley Burkhorn.
Aye.
Ryan Wakely.
Aye.
Conrad Levinsky.
Aye.
Jordan Dirksen.
Aye.
Camille Wilcox.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving forward. Can I get a motion for approval of the bills?
I'll make a motion.
Trustee Burkhorn makes the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Wilcox makes the second. Let's go ahead and have roll call on that. Thank you.
Shirley Burkhorn.
Aye.
Ryan Wakely.
Aye.
Conrad Levinsky.
Aye.
Jordan Dirksen.
No.
Camille Wilcox.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you. Let me just double check. We've got a couple people join real quick. And let me just check the audio real fast. I'm at it. Okay, cool. We are good. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward then. Do we have any open issues at this time? I think it's been relatively quiet. We're kind of just wrapping up into year stuff. Nothing? Okay, we'll kind of go ahead and move forward then. I do have some things to talk on. I know that we've got a couple things on the item already, and so I guess we'll kind of let things go as they will. I know Trustee Wakely has some things to talk on as well, but I believe that's all concerned with item A under Trustee Dirksen, so we'll wait till then. Trustee Wilcox, do you have anything?
Nothing at this time.
All right, thank you. Trustee Dirksen.
All right, so I've got a little update for the Business Registration Committee. I did speak to some businesses, and then I spoke to 3 businesses, and then it was clarified that we shouldn't have businesses involved in this. I spoke to the owner of Stumble, the owner of Sunrise, and the owner of Roses. Terry from Stumble was not interested.
Okay. Was there anybody else interested?
The Udai was interested, and the owners of Roses showed interest, but I haven't spoken to either of them since that clarification. Linda put out a call on Facebook to contact me, as she is connected to a lot more people in town than I am, being here for so much longer than I have. I've had one resident reach out to me, and that was Liz Kopax. I've actually been pretty busy the last couple weeks since then. I've been thinking about possibly doing a poll online, since there hasn't been a whole lot of people reaching out, and maybe do a flyer up at like Casey's in the post office and try to get some more people involved. So yeah, that's kind of where that sits.
Okay. All right. Trustee Wakely, I think you had some comments on this.
Yeah, I also reached out to a bunch of residents, walked around, kind of got other people's input, kind of got to put yourself out there, and just kind of, I don't know, when I was here, I just kind of introduced myself, walked around, got to know everybody, but I'm going to leave these all anonymous, but these are their exact words. So far, it's pretty much, I got 6 nays and 1 yay out of it, but one resident said, nay, don't see revenue coming in through that way, more problems to arise and money coming in. One person said, tough one. A lot of businesses are struggling right now, but that's not a large amount for a business, so I'm good with it. One person said, waste of time and effort. Can't really go back to current businesses and demand a fee, so it would only affect new businesses. New businesses already have a lot to deal with Illinois registrations and fees. Could be a reason to go elsewhere. One person said, don't see the need for that. It's unnecessary. It's like having an app fee and a rolling permit fee. Cape would have more fees because they don't allow much here to begin with. It should be easier on applications so they can have a variety of businesses come in. I thought businesses already did this as part of business application process. Sounds redundant. Why would they need to pay a registration fee unless some law that is requiring you to have one? If someone wants to open up a business, then cool, but make it as easy as possible. It's best as long as it follows all codes for building. I also think people would use it as an excuse to complain more than they do now. I don't see a huge financial gain in it. It's going to upset a lot of people. We should be helping local businesses, not hindering them, especially in these hard times. And that's all I got so far.
Do you have anything else, or is that all?
No, I'd just like to be, not really calling out, but I just like to be part of the committee. I really haven't heard much communication from you or Linda at all. And just kind of seems like you guys pushed yourselves out there and just kind of left me straggling. Like when I asked you about the update, kind of told me to piss off pretty much.
Yeah.
Business committee, you're supposed to be here for the board,
Right.
for the village.
It was also said that we needed to form a committee, right, and have meetings and stuff.
That you were pointing the lead on.
Right. You asked about meetings. There are no meetings yet because nobody
I asked
has.
for an update. I didn't get anything.
You did yesterday.
I don't have the update yet at the time.
So I'll interject real quick
did
because
update you.
I'm going to interject real quick. I'm going to call Sword and bring it in because I want to talk to this a little bit too, because I think there's some confusion, and regrettably that confusion hasn't been clarified with me at all, even though I've reached out and I've asked for some understanding on why exactly there seems to be an issue with this. I am aware of the email that transpired between yourself, Trustee Dirksen, and Trustee Wakely, and I do agree with Trustee Wakely that the response was unnecessarily hostile.
And I apologize for that also.
And that's fine, but that's
Okay,
why.
so that should be stated as well, that I apologize for that, and I tried to clear up exactly why I felt the way I did.
And then that's great, you apologized, but I have more to add to this that kind of leads into why I think there needs to be some clarification. The email was hostile. Trustee Dirksen at a later date apologized for that hostility, but the hostility and then some of the hostility I received as well concerning the situation has still left me somewhat confused, and I think there's a misunderstanding of what's supposed to be transpiring at this time. I'm also concerned with the events that have led up to this committee and the fact that we really didn't get an update tonight. The intent of it a committee, and you can be upset if you like, that's fine.
I gave you an update of.
The update was more or less roughly what you told me in the email before you told me you'd let me know at a later date what's going on.
You asked for names, so I gave you names. That was an update.
Okay, that's
and
great.
And actually, I have spoken to multiple people that didn't want to be involved. I didn't write down exactly what they said because you said that I was supposed to form a committee and have meetings.
That's the issue that needs to be clarified, and that's why we're talking right now about committees. We were very adamant to make sure everyone is aware that this committee needs to follow OMA, okay? When a committee is formed, and there was already 2 people on this committee as designated before, there's people who have reached out, like Ms. Kopax, who said they want to be on the committee as well. Yes. Okay. Has there been communication between yourself, Trustee Wolfarth, and Ms. Kopax on this committee and anybody else?
What do you mean? Communication between all of us at the same time?
Individually at the same time, yes. Has there been communication outside of just a meeting date and getting a meeting date set up? It's just a simple yes or no.
Has there been any communication between us? Yes.
Okay. We need to be very careful of that. We can't just have communicate unless.
So he communicated with people, right? But
now hold on.
I individually talk to residents.
Right, and I individually talk to one person or another at a different time.
But have you spoken with people who are on this committee outside of an actual committee or having a committee?
Would you like
meeting?
to? No, no.
At all?
I updated Linda with who I had spoken to and who I was intending to speak to.
Okay.
And
So the intent of the committee is to have these discussions during the committee meetings.
right, which is
So
why there was
there
supposed
should have been a committee meeting, or at least one set up, you know, in preparation to have the discussions. I'm reaching out to residents. This is the information that's being shared. This is what we're trying to do. A committee, and the reason I said there needed to be a committee to have this happen was to allow public participation, and so it was open to the public. Because we have had several complaints lately about there not being enough transparency, and I figured it was best to have this committee so that way it was completely transparent on what was going on in these events. That's why tonight's meeting, I was hoping, and I was looking for more of a status update, was going to include when the meeting was going to happen, when that first initial meeting
there hasn't
is.
been anybody other than you said you wanted there to be.
Okay, no, hold on.
Then
hold
listen
on.
to what I'm gonna say.
I know there hasn't been any residents who have reached out to you. That's fine. Residents are not necessary in order for there to be a
But
committee or
you
committee
said
meeting.
you wanted to have residents involved. If there's
That's
no
right.
residents involved, what is the difference between us having the meetings right here
See,
and us having a separate meeting?
and that's why we're
If
having
we've
this
only got
discussion right now.
got 3 people on this committee,
Mhm.
why don't we just speak on this committee
Because
at this meeting?
there's a difference in the formality of this meeting and a committee meeting and the way it is approached and addressed, okay? And you should have researched that before this point to understand what the difference is. There is certain formalities that need to be followed and adhered to in a regular meeting of the board such as this.
Right.
And typically audience comment is restricted to a certain time frame. We don't allow audience comments in the middle of the meeting or in the middle of topics. And committee meetings allow a bit more of an informality as that transpires. It allows a little bit more public interaction. It allows you to have that meeting and say, okay, cool, we're conducting
If
this
there's
meeting. This
been
meeting is
no-
called to order. This is what we're going to talk about. If residents don't show up to that, that's fine. There still needs to be committee meetings to discuss this topics, and the discussion cannot happen outside of that. That's what the committee is for. That's why I designated a committee on this. Not so that it just happens between the trustees, off the books, to the side, in emails, or whoever else wanted to be involved. It should be happening in a committee. And regrettably, Trustee Wakely has not been kept current up until lately, where there was new emails received
There was
on what's
no
happening. That's the issue. And so I'd like to just bring it forward. I want to ask, what is the confusion with this committee, and why is there so much secrecy, anxiety, and
It's not-
hostility
It's not
surrounding it?
secrecy. The hostility is because you and your family all want to attack me, and you've done that online, especially you, Alex. You brought my character and my moral
No,
character
hold on.
into
I'm calling
question.
this order. I'm calling this order. This is way outside the context of this
No.
right now. Yes, it is.
No, this
Yes,
is not
it
outside
is.
the context of the hostility that I feel towards you and
Okay.
your brother and that
That's,
Ryan
that's,
Wakely.
that's personal feelings. That has nothing to do with this committee right now. That is out of order for the current discussion. I asked a simple question when Ryan got the response he did about the committee and what was going on with the committee. I didn't bring up social media. I didn't bring up personal
No, but
opinion.
he brought up social media with the whole thing. So okay,
So now
okay. No, let me step back.
we're calling this to order again because we're going again and we're stepping outside the bounds of the
No,
committee.
no.
Yes, we are.
No.
Like it or not, if you believe me or not, we're stepping outside the bounds
Can
of
I
this committee
explain?
discussion.
You said
No, because it's
okay.
going
Then you
outside
asked me
that.
the question and you won't let me explain.
Okay, fine. Then explain yourself.
Okay, I was appointed in charge of this committee. Correct. Immediately after, there was comments from Ryan Wakely that nobody does anything on this board, and then you immediately said, "Well, Ryan, Shirley, and Camille all have so much on their plates that they can't take care of this right now."
Okay.
Right. So he said nobody does anything. You said, well, everybody does stuff except for you because you appointed that to me.
She does water. She did a project with hen stuff. You haven't done anything. Linda does.
I've done
and
just
this
as
is-
much as you have with solar.
Okay, hold on. Now, we're
You made what, 3 phone calls?
No, I have multiple emails. I have
Okay.
places.
right. And obviously, people are trying to antagonize people at this point.
And,
We're
yeah,
not
and it's
stepping
not
outside.
me. And it's not
We're
me.
letting you explain yourself, so continue explaining yourself.
So after that point, I felt, yes, that I was singled out, that I don't do anything for this community. Yes. So then when he said, this has to be done at this time, and this has to be done, and this has to be done, actually, that's not the correct, or at least that's not my understanding of how it has to be done. And yes, I was a jerk about it.
Okay.
He was then hostile right back to me, and I said, I'm sorry, I must have made some assumptions, and that's why I overreacted the way I did. I updated him yesterday because I wanted to make sure that he knew what we were walking into right now. He asked for an update. I gave him an update.
So I do
After 2
have
weeks.
this email.
After 1 week after you emailed me.
Now, hold on.
1 week,
hold
not
on.
2.
I do have the email from Ryan, which was, hey, so I was wondering if you've heard anything more, figured out anything for the business committee. I know a meeting date has to be scheduled and on an agenda 48 hours prior. That's all was said.
Mhm.
Was there further hostility outside of this that you're claiming? Because you said he was hostile towards you
I said
in his
after.
email.
I said in the one responding
Okay,
to
in the one
mine.
responding.
Right.
When you told him that you were
I'm done being civil and nice because of what you guys are,
After
how
your
you guys
guy-
are acting to me.
So because I'm done being nice and civil after your guys' BS, I won't actually say the word.
Mm-hmm. Right. Calling me out saying that I don't do anything for the community, and then
Okay, so hold up. Let's just kind of really drum it down right now. We'll bring it down and simple, okay? Ryan,
Yep.
I have you working on solar, speed bumps.
I was
mailbox-
working on speed bumps and solar as well.
Okay, when was the last time you guys discussed it?
When was the last time he got a hold of me about it?
Okay, so fine.
The speed bumps hasn't been approved.
Right.
So
I
anyways,
said we were waiting
Ryan.
till springtime, we got some
Yep.
warmer, so we don't have to worry about snow removal.
Okay,
That
so
wasn't the case, actually. It was
Actually,
that.
it was.
Okay,
No,
no, hold up. I was speaking. You had your turn. So let's kind of just go down this real quick. I've got Shirley handling administrative and water and wastewater right now. Camille has worked on me with the vehicles, and she's still working on me with vehicles and what we need to procure at a later date. Linda has flags and fanfare. Okay. Do you have any committee you're currently running or working on?
No,
Or
and
any
I
project?
asked from day one, what can I help with? What can I do? The first
Okay,
meeting.
Okay,
I said, what
okay,
can I
but
do?
no. Hold up. Before this business registration committee, were you on a committee or,
No.
or currently working a project?
Nope.
Okay. So if I say I've got these 3 working things and we've got a new committee and you're not working a project, then that's not me making things up that you could run this committee because you currently don't have any projects on your plate, correct?
Making things up? No.
Okay, so I didn't. So that's why I'm saying there's a little bit of unneeded hostility and tension surrounding this, especially since it is a relatively simple committee.
Right. Yeah.
It is. Are,
Just 1 second, everyone. We'll be right back up.
Okay. We should be back up and running at this point. Let me just verify real quick. Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, we are back up and running. All right. So as was being discussed, and we'll kind of tie back in. I know there was about a minute and a half we dropped out there, regrettably. All that was being discussed is that there's been some confusion surrounding this committee. Trustee Wakely was stating that he wanted to be involved more so in the committee, and wanted to be included in what was happening and transpiring, and that we needed to start having meetings, which I agree with. I'm trying to think. And then Tom, let's just legal-wise, when we come to committees and that, when do we really have to start worrying about OMA?
Well, okay, so as far as I can tell, we haven't figured out exactly how many people are on this committee.
Mhm.
Is it 3, is it 4? The rule is anytime a majority of a quorum
Mhm.
gets together, you have to comply with the Open Meetings Act. That makes it pretty difficult if you have a small committee, like a committee of 5, because a quorum is 3 and a majority of a quorum would be 2.
Okay.
There's an exception under the Open Meetings Act that does allow 2 people to talk, but that's the most you can get. I mean, even with the corporate authorities of 7, a majority is 4. A quorum is 4. The majority of a quorum is 3. So 3 people can't get together, 3 members of the corporate authority can't get together and talk about village business without complying with the Open Meetings Act. Individually, as what Trustee Dirksen perhaps has done and what Trustee Wakely has done, individually reaching out to citizens and talking is okay. But if the committee's gonna meet, it's gotta be published with an agenda 48 hours ahead of time, location, and citizens must be allowed to attend.
Okay, perfect. And that's exactly what I thought. And that's why I want to make sure that was clarified with this as well, is that it's not really a difficult process, and it's no more difficult to set up these meetings and have them open in the public than it is to really get the email sent out, get it situated, get it adjusted. And so that's why I am pushing, especially with the issues residents have levied concerning transparency. This committee needs to happen in the open, even if it's only 2 or 3 people meeting. We need to start having these discussions in the open. We can't have them behind closed doors. We can't have them solely in emails. And so that's why we need to make sure that everyone is included. Trustee Wakely has expressed he wants to be a part of this committee. He wants to sit in on these meetings. He needs to be, plain and simple. Yes.
Just as an additional comment and cautionary, you can actually arguably be in violation of the Open Meetings Act whenever a majority of a quorum has an exchange, a contemporaneous exchange, even if it's via text messaging or other ways. So you have to be careful of that as well. If you've got a text chain of 4 people and they're all members of the committee and you're texting back and forth all at the same time, now you're violating the Open Meetings Act. So you have to be careful of that communication as well.
Perfect.
If you're going to send somebody an email, send one person an email. You can send a group email, but then you don't want to get email back and forth contemporaneous like you're talking.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
just have to be careful of that as well.
Yeah.
So can I clarify, please, or ask it? So with me individually speaking to Linda, or individually speaking to, or I'm sorry, yeah, Linda. I'm sorry, I'm getting you in for some reason. Individually speaking to Linda, I did nothing wrong as far as Open Meetings Act, right?
Correct.
Yeah, correct. At this time, yeah.
So then also, with speaking to Liz and saying, great, I'll let you know when I have something to know.
Okay.
I didn't
No.
break any rules, right?
No.
So as far as the committee and that it needs to be meeting and this and that, like, I didn't break any rules, right?
So, and again, I didn't say you specifically broke rules when it came to OMA.
That's
But-
what
but-
it sounded like.
No, but I didn't.
So,
And you can go back and watch the movie. I didn't. What I said is we need to be careful.
right.
We need to be careful of the situation. Being a smaller community, that's why I wanted to reiterate with Tom, is that it is very easy to unintentionally violate OMA. And Ryan's had concerns, and we've had concerns, especially since there hasn't really been that rapport where I've received any status update or really any response on what's happening, that this might potentially be a consideration, and it might be a violation depending on the situation. Which is why it's just safer, yeah, you can have the individual conversations, set up the meeting, get the times together, say we're gonna have this discussion, and then have the
And
meeting.
that's all there's been, and there hasn't been anybody involved besides myself.
Okay,
Ryan
and that's
Linda
great.
to have.
And so, and you can keep reiterating that, but I'm just saying that
You
we
keep
need.
reiterating yourself
we
too, that I'm
need
trying,
to-
that I'm not doing things right.
Okay, so what happens if we don't have this conversation, there is a violation of OMA, and then who gets blamed for it at that point?
Why would there be an OMA violation? Because I'm doing everything the way I'm supposed to.
Except we haven't had this discussion. I've tried to reach out to you concerning this and you haven't responded to me.
That's not,
What do you mean? That's not what? If there's a concern and I'm asking, why does there seem to be so much miscommunication and issues surrounding this committee meeting, I reach out asking that, and then I get it thrown back in my face with no response. How is that not a cause of concern for me?
Okay. I understand that.
So that's where we're at, and that's why we're having this discussion at this time.
Okay.
And that's
For
why
sure.
I'm reiterating what the requirements are for meeting OMA. We need to have these committee meetings in the open. I don't care if it's just you, Linda, and Ryan. Set up a committee meeting, have the committee, have the discussion in the village hall here. It's open to you. Do it the right way. Make sure the residents are aware of what's going on, make sure it's posted ahead of time, and make sure that they have the opportunity to be involved. I said, yes, I want residents part of this committee. I want their involvement in this. We can only involve people who choose to be involved.
All right.
If they don't choose to be involved, that's great. Still have the committee and have the discussions.
So question on that. So can we like right now, if we agreed, me and Jordan, could we be like, hey, can we set the date for this time, and then set the date for whatever day of the meeting, and then in that time go around to businesses like, hey, we're gonna have a meeting about this business thing. You guys should come down, blah blah blah. Can we do it that way? And like,
That's totally fine. And like I said, I would caution against, and Jordan asked this discussion as well. Definitely Capron residents is where it's important. I want
Right.
Capron residents involved in this. And I will say that most of our businesses are not owned by Capron residents. It also can be seen as possibly a conflict of interest, or it could misconstrue a bias for a business to be the one dictating the regulations and licensing they need to follow. So that's the only where I guess I propose caution, and I was not suggesting, I told Jordan to not include business owners in making the decisions for what they're required to do as far as registration goes. Because 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say less registration, and that might not be what's best for the community. So I just want to kind of wrap this up. Is there currently any confusion with this committee meeting, or with the committee and what the intent of this is?
No.
Okay, and do we understand what the committee is reviewing? I mean, Jordan, what is the committee actually reviewing at this?
Committee is reviewing Title III, Chapter 1, correct?
Yep,
Only Chapter 1.
only chapter 1 at this time.
Correct.
It's just licensing and registration.
Yep.
So I just wanted to clarify that, because I know there's also been concerns and questions for the committee discussing all of the title, and that's not it. It is licensing and registration, chapter 1. Okay, I think, is there anything else, any closing comments before we kind of move forward from this? Like I said, I just want to reiterate, this needs to be open, it needs to be honest, it needs to be available to the residents. And so far, I have not been given the feeling that's how it's being conducted. That's why we had this discussion. Okay, moving forward, trustee Wolford is not here. Trustee Berghorn.
Everything is good. Water plant, wastewater treatment plant. We have a couple of ideas for future projects. I don't have anything solid. I have been in contact with a couple of bill payment places, but nothing, I don't have anything concrete yet. And that's all.
Fantastic, thank you. Moving forward, trustee Wakely, did you have anything else?
well, just now that it's getting warmer, ground's getting soft, so we can do that library thing now.
Okay.
Get that going. And then, I don't know if we have to do this different meeting, talk about the speed bump thing since it was already been previously approved, or?
It's already been previously approved. We should be okay to kind of move forward with it, and explore it again, and make that purchase since the board did dictate that. The only issue it comes into being is if it happens after the beginning of the fiscal year, and at that
Right.
point, I would just be more comfortable if we got additional approval for the expenditure on the new fiscal year.
Right.
And that may be the case that happens, we'll kind of see. And, cause I know that there's some road repairs that probably need to be made before we can put speed bumps out either.
Right, yeah.
So. Okay, cool. Anything else?
Nope, that's all I got.
Thank you. Mr. Green, do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay. No new business at this time. I know, that, Craig Wilcox has been in contact with, Brandon Scholar. Is that name pronounced?
Yeah.
Scholar, okay. They've gone through that, he's been given a list of things that need to be remedied to bring the building up to code, so that way the building can be approved for business use. It's moving forward as far as I know, which is a good thing. I hope Brandon does well. We are moving into the new fiscal year relatively shortly here. So that's why things have gotten kind of quiet as of late, is because we're kind of ending the year, we're wrapping things up, and then we don't like starting big new projects just before the next fiscal year. It makes it easier to wait. I'm trying to think of anything else. We're slowly gonna start opening up the hall again. And the residents will be able to come in and pay water bills, such like that. I still encourage them to use the drive-through box and the different means to pay remotely. But we're slowly gonna start kind of phasing into that as we move into April and May, into the summer time frame. Outside of that, I don't think there's really any other new business. Reports of unfinished business. Things have been quiet. Things have been going very well. Closing comments. Is there any closing comments from the board? Okay.
Just
Oh,
one.
yes, sir, go ahead.
Ryan, if you need help with that box thing,
Alright, yeah, like I
just let me
have all
know.
the material and everything, so it'd just be someone holding me in.
I can hold.
Alright.
Just let me know.
Yeah,
Awesome, thank you.
actually,
Yeah, you'll get.
do we have where did we discuss we wanted?
I think we had discussed, off of the parking lot on the
Like right
backside
as
of the
kinda
building
like the
here,
drive.
in the bend, yeah. The only reason I was thinking more towards that way is I'd probably feel better kids being farther away from 173 instead
Right,
of,
yeah.
right off the road, to access the books. Plus, we actually have a surprising amount of people that cut through here anyways.
And Julie, they're gonna have to come out probably, cause.
Yeah,
they-
Julie's only good for 2 weeks, so we'll need to get him back out here again. And then I would suggest just wait until just before and then call him for the weekend, you plan on doing
Right.
that kind of thing. Cool, and actually, let's have the office do that. We've got a separate account with them, and usually it ends up being a little bit quicker for us. Cool, that works. Anything else? Okay.
Clean out the ditches.
Yeah, audience comments. Do we have anybody who signed up for audience comments? Okay, we do have a few people here. I guess I will open it up for audience comments. If you do want to make a comment, please state your name. And then we'll allow the floor for 4 minutes, I believe it is. So, any audience comments at all? Pretty quiet tonight, which is good. I like quiet. And then, okay, if I can get a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Trustee Wilcox makes the motion. Can I get a second?
A second.
Trustee Wakely makes the second. Let's go ahead and have roll call, Carolyn.
Shirley Burkhorn,
Aye.
Brian Wakely.
Aye.
Conrad Lubinski.
Aye.
Jordan Dirksen.
Aye.
Neil Wilcox.
Aye.
Well, meeting's adjourned 7:35 PM. Thank you.
Ryan, you still have my number?